Hi everyone, it's Lynn from DevineCentral. Today I am back with video number 3 in a 4-series video on the courts in the Celtic Cross. Now, the kings and queens I've already addressed. Next time will be the pages. But today I want to talk about the knights, and I've said it before that to me the knights are like the action figures of the deck. So rather than always being a person, to me they're more of an attribute that I can equate to whatever their element is. What I've said in previous videos is I think people make the court cards way more difficult than they need to be. If you can pick one person, be it somebody you know or a famous person or whoever, and let that be the energy that you sense or you feel every time you see a particular court card. And then if you could find an attribute that best resonates with you when you see that card, and let that be it for you. You don't have to have, a ton of other meanings. When we see a particular card show up in the deck, and we have intended for that card to generate that type of an attribute or that type of a person, Spirit knows, and that's why they pull it. And if the Spirit wants you to have anything more in depth or more beyond that meaning, Spirit will let you know. So you can just trust your intuition after that. But you have to have something to get going. So let me switch cameras and let's just take a look at a simple way that the knights could show up in all of the different locations in the Celtic Cross. And before I switch, just let me say, if you think it's worthy, please give it a thumbs up, because that's how people find us on YouTube. Okay, let me switch cameras. Okay then, I have already pulled a question, and I've already pulled some cards at random here. I will tell you that I am using the Sun and Moon Tarot by Vanessa DeCourt, and I really like this deck. It's kind of a simple deck, but it's a beautiful one. The question I pulled, oh, by the way, out of my 600 questions for your tarot practice. Okay, you can get this in my Etsy shop below. The question that I pulled was, I just started a business, how will it go? Okay, that's our question. Here's our layout. I did that to shorten things up. Now, the first thing that I like to do, or I want to do today, is I want to give our reading some context. So we're going to go ahead and just read as the cards were pulled, and then we'll come back and put each of the knights in each of the positions to see how they may show up. All right, so first card we have is a pentacle, right? Here we are. We're talking about business, and we got a pentacle. 4 of Pentacles here. We also have a 10 of Pentacles. We have, it seems like we're surrounded by wands, all right? That's it. Yeah, we got 3 wands. We're kind of surrounded. We do have 3 major arcana cards, which are things that, basically they're out of our control. We're just along for the ride here on that. Oh, by the way, I'm sorry. Here's a 3rd pentacle. We have the outcome, final outcome, or potential outcome card. And the only sword that we, all right, no cups here, but the only sword that we have is tends to be our obstacle. All right, so this is how I see it, and we're going to do this really quickly because I want to move on to the knights, which is the point of this video. So I just started a business, how will it go? Well, the first thing that we know that we need to do is we need to develop our resources. I mean, isn't that what a lot of the 4 of Pentacles is all about? It's sitting tight on that chest. You know how he's sitting on, hanging on to his pentacles in a regular Rider-Waite-Smith deck? Here we have 4 castles. That reminds me a lot of chess. And so along with resources and trying to garner and hang on close to our resources, we also need some type of a strategy to go with it. And so where did that come from? Well, it came from our foundation. This is how we got here. And it seems that there was a lot of strife, a lot of challenges that have almost forced us, I feel, into starting our own business. And where did that come from? Well, probably from a previous job being so oppressed and so burdened and overburdened by all of the challenges and the competition and everything. And it finally just got to the point where it probably pushed him out of that job and into his own company. And maybe starting the business was not just some dream that he's had, for a long time, there's a good chance that it could have been because he felt like he didn't have a choice. He had to get out and he had to, pay for, his, food and his rent and whatever. And so he had no choice but to start a business. But he's now sitting in his power, and this oppression, this heavy burden is now moving away. This is the energy that's moving out. So what's on his mind? Well, we have the star. This is a wonderful omen. It tells us that there is peace and tranquility coming, that there are good times ahead, that there's hope. And and I know he's full of hope. He's very hopeful and looking forward, and he can see the light at the end of that tunnel with this card. As we move into the energy that's coming in, we have the Seven of Wands. And listen, wands are about energy, so the energy is picking up. But the sevens are, to me, happen to be about retesting. So we have this strife of the fives, right? We have all these challenges with the fives, and then we have a little bit of harmony restored with the sixes, and we get a little bit of a break before we start up that hill again and find ourselves, oh my gosh, we're going to be retested by everything. And that's okay, because anything worth having is worth working for, right? And so if we have to retest and rethink some part of our situation, so be it. So what stands in this gentleman's way? It's going to be the Six of Swords, and that is letting go of what no longer serves you. So it's time to move forward. It's time to move on. It's time to move out of have you seen the Rider-Waite, where there's all of this rushing water on one side and there's this calm, pool of water on the other. So it's leaving that craziness and being able to start seeing ahead of yourself. So I think that the obstacle is not looking back. It's just continuing to move forward, because that's the direction that you're already in. And I do see the swords as probably taking some of his baggage with him, because that's what we do. We're human beings. Okay, so in my world, the card number 7 is, how can you sabotage your situation? Okay, what not to do. I do not read reversals, and I do like to have a shadow card in every spread that I read, and that kind of gives me both sides of the picture. So it's so funny, because what's on your mind ends up probably being what you end up doing. So you always kind of look for these, right? So we have hope, and we're seeing something new and nice, but we have judgment here. And judgment is not about judging other people, judging us. This is more about self-redemption, self-judgment, right? We need to take a look at all the things we've done right and all the things we've done wrong. And we need to forgive ourselves for that. And then we need to move on, and we need to start fresh. And I love how these cards always seem to dovetail together. So we have all the challenges and everything that pushed us to start our own business. And so how can we sabotage ourselves? Well, I think it's by not learning the lessons, don't you? This is about, we stand to repeat everything if we don't learn the lessons. And so I think it's learning not to have to go backward and repeat stuff. So learn from it and move on. We have the Ten of Pentacles. Couldn't have a better card in the area of the environment around us over which we have no control. These are the people around us. We have friends, we have family, we have financial advisors. We have all the people that we need, and we have the resources that we need to make this happen. We just need the strategy, and we need we just need the gumption to do it. So we have the Devil, which is a pretty major card in the advice area. So what is Spirit trying to tell us with the Devil's card? Maybe it's not being bound, again, letting go of what doesn't serve us, not being bound to repeat our mistakes, not feeling like we have to stay where we are, or like we're not as good as other people out there. We have to let go of that and know that there's a positive world out there, and we need to jump in it. Now, the devil also can represent indulgence, right? That's kind of the more positive side of the devil. Don't get ahead of yourself thinking that you're better than you are. Stay humble, and don't overindulge in your own fantasy of hey, I started my own business. Just try to work really hard and be humble. And then we end up with the Queen of Pentacles. Now, to me, this is typically a person, if it lands in this position. This can also be how the situation, where the road will take you if you do not make any changes along this route. And at the end of the day, we have a Queen of Pentacles. We have something practical, right? We have a practical application of your situation. So to me, this queen is the queen of practicality. So there is a practical approach that you will be following, and if not, a person that's going to bring that approach to you. All right, so that's just a quick reading on this. Let's start with the Knight of Wands. I'm going to call him Prince here because I don't want to keep going back and forth, and I know as I see it, I'm going to read Prince. The Prince of Wands, this guy is my bull in a china shop. Kind of a bumbling idiot, wonderful guy, full of energy, always happy, always trying to do things, for us and with us, but he just jumps in both feet first. So when I see a court card come up in the number one position, to me, it is always a person and almost always somebody other than yourself or other than the querent. So I see this simply, and again, remember I said we need to simplify this stuff. I see this as a friend or possibly even a stranger. This is someone who brings you new business contacts, a new business opportunity. Something is going on, for your business that you just started, and it involves somebody else. And where did that person come from? Well, he could have come out of a business contact from where you were before. It could be somebody that was a coworker from before, and you both said, screw this, let's get out of here, right? So it came out of some kind of a challenge is where this guy came from. So I just can't help but wonder if he came from previous work. Now, and that would be if he was here. Okay, so how can, what about the energy leaving? Well, it could be the same. This could be a need to act. There was something happened here, some type of a challenge that occurred that caused you to need to act on it. And now that you've acted on it by starting this business, now that energy is leaving and it can go away. What is on your mind? Well, it could be someone else on your mind. It could be the action that you want to take, some type of an approach, and you're thinking about it. How do you approach this person, or how do you approach this particular situation? You've got something pertaining to the business that you need to deal with, and you need to figure out, where it's going to go. It could just be a big marketing plan you've got on your mind, but it's something that you need to act on. Okay, and as we let's stop for a minute and say, how can this prince be an obstacle, for the situation? Well, that's easy. This could be an individual who is just, wreaking havoc, somehow. I mean, this could just be, this could also just be your, I don't know, your lack of desire to change. It could also be it's a hindrance of some kind, dealing either with a person or dealing with your ability or inability to act in a quick manner and get this thing done. So when we see this guy show up in the future, or the energy that's coming into, it could be somebody who's going to be walking into your life, and he's going to lift that energy level up, and he's going to, he may not help you with the position itself, but he's sure going to give you the excitement level to keep pushing and forging ahead. All right, so in my shadow position, okay, how can this guy be? How can he show up as a way to sabotage yourself, right? Okay, so again, it could be saying no to something. maybe maybe it's somebody and they have been involved with you in the past. Let's say somebody's coming along and wants to be a part of this business venture. You might have to say no. You might have to not let them in order to keep them from sabotaging your business or your plan that you've put together. Okay. All right. So in the environment, that could be just a really strong friend. It could be a strong friend or a strong ally, somebody that can roll their sleeves up. They've always got your back. They can roll their sleeves up and take a piece from you and help you along. As advice, now this is interesting. I think as advice, this particular night would be saying, right, take action, right? So show your initiative. Don't jump in feet first, 2 feet first, and go get all crazy about the situation. You want to keep a level head, and it's hard to do when you have this much enthusiasm. But it's about, I think it's about taking action. It's about the initiative. It's about embracing change and making it what you want. It reminds me of the Empress. Creating the life that you want, creating the atmosphere that you want. All right, and as a potential outcome, if you just keep going in the same direction, well, it's a fresh start. It's a chance to upgrade, if you will, because you can take action here, and you should take some kind of action, and some type of advancement is probably reasonably assured when you have this knight in that position. Okay, so that's our Knight of Wands, or our Prince of Wands. Now let's take a look at Cups. Okay, it's a little bit different energy here, don't you think? So when we see him, he's, it's as if there's going to be, and again, let's go back. The question is, I just started a business. How will it go? I think that you have somebody in front of you that's going to be coming at you with some type of a proposal. Okay, and I think it's going to be important that you check his intentions before jumping into anything. That's what I would tell somebody. Okay. Also, it could be just a big dream that you had at one point, and that's how you came to to starting your own business, because you just had this big fat dream, and that's all fine and good as long as you're willing to act on it. All right. So if we had him in the energy that's leaving. In the past, it could be, I don't know, it's some type of a connection. It could be a positive connection. It could be a negative one. It could be an old, a coworker that maybe you're going to miss, and you can feel that energy leaving. You can feel them not being there anymore to support you and help you talk about your big dream. So as an obstacle, this could be money. It could be, let's say, maybe a building owner, or it could be something being held up. Even a family or a member or a person trying to thwart, saying, hey, I don't think you ought to be doing this or spending this kind of money or whatever. But it could be somebody with another agenda, because that's kind of what this guy does. He has an agenda. He has his own agenda. All right, so when we see this in position number 5, this is our, what's on our mind. I see this more as that rose-colored glasses. We see things, our dreams, our illusions of grandeur, and, I think it's don't let ourselves get carried away. And I think that's what that means there. As moving forward in the energy that we're coming into, right? I think he opens up an opportunity. There is a proposal. There is an opportunity coming your way. And I think that it would certainly, you want to vet it, but I think it might be worth looking at. Okay. So when we move over here to how can this person sabotage our situation, I think jumping both feet first into the situation would be a problem, but more so because he is the Prince of Cups. I think it has a lot more to do with letting the fantasy of success outweigh the reality of the business startup. Okay, so we know he can be good emotional support, right? Because he's a cup. So I think being in a position of the environment around us, I think that he can sing your praises. He can be great support. He can be, it's seeking that connection with other people and them wanting to, they're in your corner, so they want to be there for you and connect with you and help you with your business. So if we see him in the advice column, I would say beware of snake oil salesmen. That's what I would think. Because this guy sells a good story. He's not real big on follow through, but he can be very enticing when he wants to be. He can be a player. He can be a seducer. He can be just somewhere in that area. So just be sure to consider all angles before you move forward with this guy. All right, and then if he does land in the column of, or in the position of what your outcome could be if you just stay on your current course. Well, let's see. I think that he could be your knight in shining armor. He might step in to help you with PR. I've seen a lot of crazy ass PR people in my day, but I have seen a lot of type B personalities be just uncanny when it comes to marketing. They just have that soft, gentle, snake oil salesman type way of getting people's attention. Okay. So let's set him aside and let's take a look at the Prince of Swords. Right. So, what can you say about this guy sitting here? Now, like I said, it's not always a person. And this is the first time in a long time that I see this, and this is what Spirit is telling me is this is a real chaotic start to his business. Okay, it could be he could be forced here by circumstance. So maybe he lost his job. Maybe that's where it came from, and he needed a quick fix. And he'd been thinking about starting about his business, and so you know what? By God, there's no time to spare. He's just going to jump right in, and so that's where this could have come from. Now, as an obstacle, Spirit may be warning you to not look back, because this knight moves forward. He has one direction, and it is forward, and it's forward at a fast speed. And so not heeding that call, could be to your detriment. So what's leaving? It could be your old way of doing things, right? Because this is about new actions and moving in. So the old way of thinking about it and maybe the landscape is just going to be different now because you're moving so fast into the next world or the next phase of your life. So what's on his mind? Still thinking about the process, maybe. Not necessarily ready to, for anybody else's input. Wants to make these decisions on his own, and Lord knows he can because he's got the intellect to do so. But I'm thinking, he's still thinking through the process and not really ready to bring others in. Now, as we move around and bring him into what energy is coming in, I would say that within, let's say, maybe the next 3 to 6 months, the client is going to need someone's help or someone's input. And this night is going to be who comes to the rescue. And there's going to be a price to be paid because you know how this night is, right? It's his way or the highway. But it's going to be worth it because he's going to bring or interject some really intelligent, strategic moves that will really help this guy's business. I see that. All right. So how's he going to screw with us? Well, trusting the wrong people, maybe. See, that brings us back here, right? We've had challenges in the past, but I think trusting the wrong people, or not trusting the right people, but letting somebody in that wants to come in and tell you how to run your business or how you should be doing things, that it's paying attention to that or giving lip service to that, and you don't want to do that. As an environment, Well, it's kind of a united front, right? This can be a trusted relationship with people that are going to literally defend and protect you. And this is somebody that can do it. He's going to stand guard. He's going to make sure that no one messes with you except him. Okay. So, what is he going to do when we put him in the advice column? Okay. You are going to receive the guidance and the protection that you need. But Spirit is saying, move, take action. You have so much time to do this, and you need to move quickly and intelligently. And I think that says it all there. So if he ends up as the potential outcome, if you just keep on your current path, well, to me, he's my fixer in this deck. So he's gonna fix whatever, You just need to establish the rules with him. I see him as a person coming in and helping out, but it's really establishing, some boundaries, and that's going to be needed if you're going to keep going in the direction you're going and bring this person in. Okay, that is the Prince of Swords. We have left. Now we have our Pentacle. Okay. So if we have Mr. Knight of Pentacles in the number one position here, right? What does that say? In this case, I think he could be an attribute. He could be a very capable person that's going to come. Or maybe it's saying you are extremely capable of handling this yourself. If it is a person, he isn't a front guy. You'd be the front guy, or the business owner would be the front guy. This guy is going to be in the background. He's going to be the accountant, the bean counter, he might be the idea guy, the computer guy, the graphics design artist guy. But I see that there's going to be I would just think that there would be somebody else involved in this situation with you. Okay. Now, if we see this in the, how did we get where we are? How do we get to this new business that we have, that we're putting together and we're trying to build resources for? Well, I see this as a long-awaited opportunity, something that is finally coming to fruition. That is one of my attributes for this card, is a long-awaited opportunity. Okay, something that you've worked for. Okay, what is the energy that's leaving? Well, how about education, experience? You've got all that. Now it's time to move forward, right? It's time to show what you can do here. It's time to move along, leave whatever is no longer serving you, take your education and your experience with you, and start this new business. Okay. All right. All right. As a crossing card here, I would say, this guy right here. What can we say about the Knight of Pentacles as a shadow card, or as opposition, right? I would say his perfectionism, wouldn't you? I mean, this guy, yeah, this is kind of like that failure to launch thing, right? He wants everything so perfect, and that he takes such a long time to do it, that he times out on a lot of this, and especially with the energy level, because you really need a lot of energy to get this new business going. So if we put him in the position of what's on your mind, I think it calls for a very careful, systematic approach, and that's what he's thinking, because that's his personality. That's who he is, right? There's that attribute. As we come around the bend, and we see that we've got energy coming in, this could be someone who will provide that financial support, because he is a finance guy. We do see him as a good business guy. He's an up-and-comer, too. He gets it. He gets the current environment, right? And as opposed to some old stodgy, King of Pentacles that probably has already retired and has seen, a different era of what it takes to start a business. So what do we have as far as a shadow side for this guy? Well, how about stepping over dollars to pick up dimes? I think that we need to pick our battles when we go into business for ourselves. And I think that this guy can I think he can debate every little detail to the point where it takes him off course. And I think that's what he needs to look for and watch out for. As the environment over which we have no control, well, this is dependable, strong support in your corner. All right. As advice from Spirit, well, gee, how about, I don't know, looking for more than just a partnership again, with somebody. Maybe a kindred spirit, maybe together that they're going to be no stopping them. I just think that maybe he's saying that you should probably bring a partner on and that this would be a good guy. There's somebody out there for you that's coming that could be a really good partner. And then as an end result, right, the start of a solid future venture with somebody who has your best intentions in mind. All right. Well, there you have it. There's the nights. Next up is going to be the pages. I'll do that one in about a week or so. And in the meantime, again, if you like the video, please give it a thumbs up. Know that I do have some fun and interesting video ideas coming up. I hope that that you'll like them. I'm trying to keep them Celtic Cross related for now because I know so many people are interested in the Celtic Cross. But I do have some other surprises coming. So take care and happy holidays, and I will see you on the next one. Bye-bye.